Welcome to Real Life with Jenny. My name's Jenny Senapataratna. Grab your favorite drink, get a snack, and we'll get started. Today, I have like an orange blossom tea. I got it from a hotel. It's okay. It's just okay. I would not recommend it. And I have Raisinets because that's what's in front of me today. So let's get real. This year is all about rewrite. And so I wanted to talk a little bit about something that has really defined my life for a really long time. And maybe it shouldn't have. I don't know. Or maybe it should have. We'll find out. So when Samantha was probably a year old, I'm not even sure she was a year old at this point. She was anywhere between 6 months and 2 years. Like, really, no idea. So, really, should it be a defining moment in my life? Not necessarily, because I don't remember the timing. I do know where I was. So, I was at a park, and I was there with a mom's group from the church that we were attending at that time. We only attended the church for a couple years. It was a fabulous situation. I absolutely loved it. And I was sitting there, and Samantha did something. I don't even remember what she did, but I just kind of was like, it's fine, don't worry about it. And one of the moms looked at me and said, "You're never going to be able to have more children if that's the kind of parenting that you do. You are way too lackadaisical. Your children will all die." And I was really kind of stunned by that. In fact, I believe that Sam and I left not more than 5 minutes later. I came up with some excuse and I got out of there because everybody thought it was really funny. And they were like, yeah, Jenny's just really relaxed. And I am. I am a mom that has always been very relaxed. I believe dirt is good for you. That might have been what she was doing, is eating dirt. I don't know. I remember that they brought out a bunch of hand sanitizers, and I was like, please don't give them to Sam. She was like one at that point, and they were all using them, but hand sanitizers are great if you love them. I hate the smell, I hate the taste, so I never used them for Sam or for myself. And so, for better or for worse, that's just the way I parented, and I kind of just let Sam see what could happen. I'm a natural consequences kind of mom. That's just who I am. And so I believe that there are natural consequences to doing things that mom said were not a good plan. And yes, there are consequences that we've given her throughout the years, but natural consequences tend to be a little more impactful in my mind. And so I've been a mom who's like, fly out of the nest and let's see what happens, or push her out of the nest and see what happens. And so I've been a little more lackadaisical, according to this lady, in parenting. And so I have kind of carried that with me, that maybe that's why God never gave me more than one child. Maybe that's why He gave me one, because if I had more than that, it would be a horrible situation, and I can't control that kind of chaos. And I will tell you a little story about maybe why this is true. I don't know. But I'm rewriting this because this has been very painful in my life. I'll be completely honest with you. It was a very painful, judgmental thing that this lady said to me, saying, "You're just not a good mom, so you're not going to get more. Like, if you were good at this, God would give you more." And I just want to stop right there, that I know that that's not the truth. Like, I know in other people's lives, how about that? In other people's lives, I know that's not true. I know that God does not go, "You're not a good mom, I'm not going to give you more." That's not how He works. In fact, there are lots of people that I'm like, how are you? Like, they're not good moms. You read the news and you're like, they got more than one. you know, that's just not how things work. And so I have lived under that kind of judgment for 17 years, that I'm just not a good enough mom to have more. And so fast forward to a few weeks ago, and I have a very precious friend who has 3 young sons, and they're all, under the age of 16, from like 11 to, 15, kind of in that range. And they are She is a phenomenal mom. Let's just make that very clear. And she needed some help and said, "Hey, Jen, would you come and just like be with the boys? Like, just come. You don't, it's not babysitting because they're older, but come and just be with them and spend, a few hours with them." And I thought, I can do this, right? Like, I can totally spend time with three kind of teenage boys. And, and what happens in those few hours with those boys was some of the most fun and most terrifying moments that I've had in years. First of all, I have a girl, like a very quiet. Yes, she's super adventurous. Yes, she loves adrenaline. But I don't normally know that she's doing like jumping off a cliff until after she's jumped off the cliff. I'm not normally there when she's doing those kind of things, or she's with her father. Like, she's just a very quiet, she loves books, those kind of things. So I have not experienced the kind of energy that three boys can have. Like, I was overwhelmed with the amount of energy, and it was so, I have to be honest, it was so fun. They were so sweet and so lovely, and I had such a phenomenal time with them. I don't know that they had as much fun with me as I did with them, because they were kind of like, "Okay, lady, let's get moving," but at one point, my family always does games. Like, that is something that we love to do. Whenever we're on the road, we play games. We do scavenger hunts. We do all kinds of different things in the car, outside of the car. We've just always been kind of crazy. Even before Sam was born, we've been, doing prizes, and we have a trophy that's a bowling pin that we pass from person to person. I think I currently have the bowling pin, or Sam does. I'm not sure which one of us. And so we're always about games. Like, this is something that I just absolutely love. And so I thought, okay, we're going to do a scavenger hunt. That was my original plan. Like, I thought I'm going to put together a scavenger hunt and we'll go. But it ended up being really a very cold day. It was very cold. And then I don't mean like Jenny was a wimp. Like, it was like 30 degrees. And so I decided that we needed to do something a little different. Other than having these three young men run around outside, freezing their tails off, I thought we need to do something different. So I had the grand plan of bringing three very energetic boys to the Dollar Tree and saying, "Okay, you each need to buy 10 items, and then you need to make something out of those 10 items. And whoever wins gets a prize, and everybody got a small prize." And so I am in the Dollar Tree. And I'm normally in a Dollar Tree with a girl who loves to shop. Like, let's just be real. I've never been in a Dollar Tree with three very energetic, sweet and kind boys, but very energetic. And this is their first time ever going into the Dollar Tree trying to build something, is my guess. I don't know. Maybe they do this on a regular basis and they hoodwinked me. I don't know. But we're there, and they're all shopping. One gets done immediately. Like, it is like 5 seconds in, and he's got everything. He's like, "Now what do I do?" And I was like, "Oh, good, because your brothers do not." Like, slow down. Let's take our time. Like, I'm kind of thinking, "Okay, Jenny, how long can you stay here?" Because now he's done and everybody else isn't. And so it just becomes this whole thing. And at one point, I'm just walking around the store trying to keep my eye on everybody, because I'm like somehow responsible. And I have been told by this lady that I am not responsible. I kind of just let people go and do whatever they want. And so I've kind of lived with that my whole life. Like, I'm not responsible. I'm not the one that you put in charge of your children. This is never a good plan. And so that's really my core belief at this point. So I am almost panicking in the Dollar Tree. Like, they were so sweet. And the people that work there just kind of were like, "We love these boys. They are so great." In fact, I had someone come over to me that worked there, and he's like, "These boys are so polite and so sweet." And I'm like, "Yeah, it's their mother." And I'm not the mother. Like, but they really impressed people. So it wasn't like they were acting wild, but I was in a panic because I knew that I was not as rigid as probably their mom was. And I'm just a little more like, here's, let's see how this goes. And so at one point, I look over and someone is that works there is handing one of the boys money. And I was like, okay, what what is going on? Like, okay, how have I lost this much control? And come to find out, he's the worker that was working there, who's actually the manager. I found out later, said to one of the young gentlemen, if you go take your pool noodle and hit this other employee with the pool noodle, I'll give you $1. Well, what 11-year-old boy is not going to be like, score, I'm going to get $1 and be able to hit someone? This is amazing. So here's Jenny in all of her lack of parenting skills. Like, it was just a full on colossal craziness. And it wasn't because they were crazy. It was because I was like, I don't know what to do. Like, should I be rigid? Should I be like, it was just a whole crazy time. So anyway, long story short, like, it's already a long story, so I'm sorry about that. But we went back and they made some phenomenal, fun things. Like, they were super creative with the things that they bought. One made a basketball hoop, which was so cool. One made a shield, like a body armor thing around. That was really fun. And he like had it all bungeed onto himself, and it was so neat. I was like, that's creative. Bungee cords and pool noodles and all kinds of fun stuff. And then the third made this beautiful pillow with a Bible verse on it. And come on now, you know me, I'm a sucker for a Bible verse. And so he won top prize, but it was just so fun to see their creativity. And we did a bunch of other things that day, and it was really fun. There are lots of moments that I was like, I think I need to rein things in. I think I need to put down a rule here. And then I'm like, but that's really not who I am. So I got home and I'm telling my family kind of about my day and how much fun I had. And I laughed so much that day. I cried several times. Like, they were just so full of joy and just so sweet and so gracious to me, because they knew I knew nothing about what was going. Like, they were like, okay, this poor lady has never been around 3 very energetic boys that, can just, they have more energy than I've ever seen in my life. Like, I was like, this is just incredible. I was like, could I bottle this somehow? And I come home and I'm telling my family kind of about our experience and some of the stuff we did, and just fun parts of my day. And when I was winding down that night, I just started crying. And it was just one of those moments that I was like, did I fail them? Did I not do everything that I needed to do to make that day something? I mean, they were only with me for like 3 hours. How much can you mess up a kid in 3 hours? Well, I felt like I could really, really mess them up in 3 hours. And so I would just like to say to the mom, I love you, and I hope I didn't mess things up. But I just sat there and I cried because I was like, Lord, is this why? Here I am, I'm in the Dollar Tree, and one of the boys is hitting someone with a pool noodle, which was actually super hilarious, and everybody thought it was super funny, and all the store employees were in on it, so it wasn't like he was super sweet and like super excited about his dollar. And I just felt like such a failure. I was like, is that because, is that what that lady said, right? And the Lord just came to me and said, can we rewrite this, Jenny? And I was like, well, I don't know that we can rewrite it, Lord, because it's the truth. I am not a rigid person. I am kind of go with the flow, let's see how things go kind of person. That is just who I am. I will just kind of walk around a store and see what speaks to me. I'm not a put rules in place kind of person that kind of goes against who I am. In fact, I grew up without a curfew. Like, my mom didn't have a curfew. She was like, just use your brain. Like, just use common sense. Come home when it makes sense. Like, when the event's over, come home, And so I never grew up with all these like rules and regulations and those kind of things. And so to put those in place is just not really who I am. Now, Samantha has a curfew, and that's just had a lot to do with our day and age. But I sat here and I cried and I was like, Lord, I feel like I can't rewrite this. And I feel like I'm not the only one. Not because I'm not the only one and you all are like, oh, I just kind of fly by the seat of my pants like Jenny does. But there are things in our lives that are just so concrete in our lives that rewriting them and handing them over to God seems impossible. Seems like there's really no way for that to happen. Like, Lord, this is just who I am. This is my DNA. This is how I'm made up. And the Lord just kind of spoke to me and said, but maybe it's not actually an issue. And I was like, whoa, what do you mean it's not an issue? Like, what do you mean that this is me being kind of fly by the seat of my pants is not really an issue? Isn't that why you didn't give me more children? Like, isn't that the reason that I have one and I don't have so many? And he reminded me of when I was in charge of the girls at Emmanuel on Wednesday nights, 3rd through 5th grade, and I had 70 to 80 girls on a Wednesday night. And he reminded me, would I have put you in charge of that if I didn't trust you with many? And I think that in our lives, sometimes we get so stuck on that negative word that has been spoken to our lives. And we sometimes need to bring it to the Lord and say, Lord, what's your real thought on this? Can you rewrite this for me? Because maybe it is the truth. I am lax. Like, I am kind of fly by the seat of my pants. But does that make me a bad mom? No, it doesn't. It doesn't make me a bad mom. It actually makes me a really good mom, because Kevin and I are very polar opposites. He is not fly by the seat of his pants. I am. And it gives Samantha a really great balance in her life. And I'm really grateful that the Lord allowed me to spend that couple hours with those boys and that they really changed me. And that time was really a rewriting and going, you know what? You can definitely have been a mom of multiples. That was just not the plan that God had. And it had nothing to do with me being fly by the seat of my pants. But I can be really fun. And so I just want you to take some time today, and that one thing in your life that you're like, Lord, I don't know how this could ever be rewritten because it's so a part of my core. Just hand it over to the Lord today and say, you know what? Maybe this is actually one of my strengths, not one of my weaknesses. Can you imagine? And it says so often in the Bible, he will take your weakness and make it into your strength. Like, it's not written that way. That's Jenny E's. But he talks about our weakness is his strength, and that we can take our weaknesses and allow God to make us strong in those areas. And it is one of our strengths in him. So I just encourage you to know that some of your quote unquote weaknesses may actually be your strengths. Think about it. Well, you can find me at Real Life with Jenny on Instagram, Facebook, and Be Real. You can also find me at christconnection.cc/Jen. And if you want, you can sign up for an email there that you can get a weekly podcast email on Real Life with Jenny. I believe it's Real Life with Jenny podcast on Facebook. Anyway, I'm a little confused. I still have tears streaming down my face. But this week, let's take our weaknesses to the Lord and just say, Lord, my weaknesses, may you turn them into strength. And may you show me that there's strength and that they would stop defining me, and that I no longer have to feel like I'm a failure or that I'm weak in an area, because that's where you've actually made me strong. And just a shout out, thank you to my 3 lovely friends who spent several hours with me. You guys were amazing, and I cannot wait to do it again. Have a great day.